Hey guys, welcome back. So if you saw the last episode, you know that the transmission, she is shot. Went over everything I did. At first I thought maybe it was something that I did, but you know, the torque converter was pushed all the way back when we mated the trans to the engine, and everything was working. I don't know if I'm at fault or if something was just wrong with the transmission and it sat and sat. Either way, I have to save up for a new transmission. So here's the one that I'm going with. So again, I don't know if I did it or if it was just a bad transmission. I don't mind taking the blame because whatever. But because of that, today we're going to start sanding down and doing some budget body work. You know, I'm sure a lot of you are no stranger to the Bondo brand body filler. It's made by 3M, and you know, it's okay. It's not the best. It's not the Eastwood product that I would like to be using, but I have to save a lot of money now. All right, I'm gonna duck down to get in frame, but to start, guys, this is what I'm gonna be working with for areas like this. Now, I know somebody out there is gonna be like, don't put body filler on that. Fill it with lead or welded, or I ain't got time for that. I just ain't got time. That's a massive area, and it drops down, so I would have to get more metal. It's just, for me, it's not worth it. So So now I'm going to blow all this off, clean it up, take a piece of sandpaper, run my sandpaper down it so that it's a little bit coarse on the metal, and then we'll get our body filler mixed up, get this one filled in. So, alright guys, so as you can see, I went ahead and took the paint off up above the area that I want to fill in, because we're going to have to blend it up and we're going to have to blend it down. So I took my wire wheel, got all that off, took some 80 grit sandpaper and just kind of scuffed up the metal so the filler will have something to bond to. And yeah, so now I'm gonna mix up my filler and we're gonna start working on this side. All right guys, so listen, I'm about to start mixing up the Bondo. And if you've never done this before, there's one thing that's incredibly important to remember. Before you put your hardener on here, especially anytime you use it, take it, get some of the air out, right? Push it until just a little bit's coming up, cap it, and then work it back and forth for, you know, good 30, 40, 45 seconds, minute, whatever. So I'm going to need this for a little bit. I'm gonna get some filler on here, and then I'm gonna show you how much hardener you need to work with this. It's all temperature dependent, so the warmer it is, the less hardener you need. The colder it is, you're gonna need a little bit more. So I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do, and you know, if it looks like it's something that'll work for you, do it. If not, you know, that's all right too. All right, so this is how much filler I'm gonna start with. I think it should be enough, hopefully. If not, whatever. So here's the deal, right? So here's all the filler I got. This is just the way that I was taught. A good rule of thumb is when you got something this size, you're gonna want it to do one strip at least from the center out, maybe a little bit more depending on how big, you know, the filler patty that you're working with is. So I'm gonna take this, just like that, guys, and that should be all that I need. Now, you don't want to get air bubbles in this, so you don't want to mix it. What you want to do is you want to take your scraper and you just want to keep pressing the hardener down into it. You're just going to keep folding it, and we're going to keep doing this until we got one uniform color. Now it's already getting hot down here in Tennessee, so I expect that this is going to start hardening up pretty quickly. But it's not going to harden up as fast as like some of your Eastwood products will. Those are some really nice filler products. Not to say that this 3M Bondo product isn't good. I mean, if you take your time, it'll work nicely for you. So this all looks like it's pretty consistent. So next, I'm gonna start taking a little bit at a time. I'm gonna press it down into my seam because I don't want any air pockets. All right, so what's happening is it's starting to harden, and it's actually starting to draw the filler out of wherever I take my scraper. So I'm gonna have to stop fooling with it now. And then I'll let this pass right here harden up. I'll bring it down some, and then I'll do another layer. That's a pretty big gap that we're trying to fill. It might not seem like it, but it really truly is. So you don't want to put a whole bunch on at one shot. It's just not gonna turn out great. So we'll let this start curing. I'll move on to the other side, and then once I get done with that side, I'll get some filler in. We'll get this sanded down. We'll hop back on when we do the final coat, let you see what that looks like, and then I'll just get both sides done. We'll jump on to another part of the car. So see you in a bit. All right, so we went ahead and I started shaping on this. So this is now ready for a second coat. And I got the trunk sanded down. I got to put a little bit of filler in here because I found some holes. And then I got a little ding right here. We'll fill that in with some glaze on top of primer. Yeah, so I sanded it down, blew it off, wiped it off with my rag, and I'm gonna go ahead and get some filler in here and then get it sanded down. And then we'll go ahead and shoot some primer on the trunk, move on to the roof. So, see you in a bit. Well, there you have it. Those holes are gone. I ended up just using 220 grit paper. Oh, actually, I got a small little spot here that I just saw. I'll touch that up right quick, and then wiped everything off with my microfiber towel. But yeah, let me hit that spot real quick, and then I'm gonna shoot some primer on it. Well, I went ahead and took my block. I forgot to get sandpaper to actually use it, so I'm having to use discs. It's not the best, but whatever. We got the first coat of primer down, let it cure, and yeah, so then I knocked it off. I'm about to do a second coat right now. Over here you can kind of see where I used a little bit less hardener, a little bit more. So you can see I got 2 layers on here, sanded down real nice. We're still low in the middle, so I'm gonna do a third pass on that side. And on this side, it's pretty well spot on, but I might just do a third pass real thin just so I can kind of block it down real nice. So yeah, let me get some more primer on this and then I'll show y'all what that looks like. All right guys, so we went ahead and put a second coat of primer on the trunk lid and we're gonna wait for that to cure. I still have to do a third layer of filler on those two seams. But while we're waiting, we're drinking a little bit of Gatorade because it's super hot. I just thought I would take a little bit of time and show y'all a couple of vehicles that some family members of mine have either owned or bought. So first, I'm gonna go ahead and show you my uncle's two Mopars. He's had back when he had a mullet. He had a really cool Roadrunner and really cool Duster. So that's these right here. And then my grandfather, he was actually into Beetles. He built so many cars. But the coolest vehicle, in my opinion, that he ever made was this white Beetle truck. He was an old dirt track guy, as you can see here. And then here, right here, I'll show you the Beetle truck that he built in his shop. So, as you can see, I mean, building these cars and the car, you know, culture has just been a part of our family for the longest time. Unfortunately, we're at the stage where I'm saving up money for transmission, I'm saving up money for metal, and all I really have to do is this body work. So as I'm doing this body work, I just thought every now and then I'll take a couple minutes out of the segment and kind of go over plans for the car, history, yada, yada, yada. So yeah, I'm gonna finish this Gatorade and let that start drying up. I'm gonna get back to work. See you in a bit. All right guys, so I wanted to just give you a bit of an update. I got the couple coats of primer on the roof and I've just been sanding it down as I go, let it cure for a couple hours and then block sand it down a little bit. So I still have to put another coat on the top. As you can see, it's still a little streaky. And down here I got all that sanded down, sorry. And then over on the drip rail right here, I had to mix up a little bit more. And there's a little bit of a gap right here. So once that cures, I'll sand that down and you won't be able to see that. That's not body filler, that's just a little bit of overspray. Yeah, so I probably should have taped up my window because I got a little overspray on there too, but whatever. All this has to get cleaned up anyways, and that'll come off with a razor blade and some glass cleaner. And I got to get all this chrome cleaned up. I still got to sand down the drip rail to prime it. So don't look at some of this and think, oh, he's not going to tape anything and he's doing a hack job. I just got lazy right there. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I just got lazy. So I won't do that again because now I got to clean that glass up. But yeah, so three coats on each one, or 3 layers I should say, and I sanded it down and block sanded it, and it's smooth as can be. So once I get done with that piece on this side and on the other, I'll sand those down, get some more primer on this and get some more primer up on the top. And yeah, I wanted to get the hood done today too, but it's been so much work. I just don't know how much more I'm gonna get done, to be honest with you. Trunk lid turned out great. I got 3 coats on it, and yeah, it's gonna get sanded, and then it's gonna get some filler primer put on top, and then it's gonna get sanded down with 1000 grit. So it'll look real nice once it's done. So let me get back to work here, guys, and I'll show y'all how everything looks once I get done. Hood's primered. I figured nobody wanted to watch me sand on the hood for a couple hours and then, you know, the primer on. So yeah, I just did all the work real quick, and that's the had an icon pop up. That's the first coat. We're gonna let that cure, and then I'll do a little chick, and then a second coat, and then we'll put the filler primer on. So yeah, car's coming along nicely. That's just a canopy that we got sitting on there for our tent. But yeah, man, look at that. So hood's done, roof is done. I still got to sand down where I put a little filler on the pillars right there, and you can see in the back where I got all that done. But yeah, I want to get a little bit more primer on this car, you know, a little bit more sanding done, a little bit more primer done, and then y'all can tell me what you think. But we're getting there. So that's gonna be it for this episode, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a great week. I'll see you next time.